Hi, my name is Brianna Motzkis, and I'm with the Fabric Patch in Ephrata, Washington. You can find us at fabricpatch.net, and today we are going to do Jacob's Star. All right, so to get started, the Jacob Star is behind us, and this is going to take 36 10-inch squares of a dark and 36 10-inch squares of a light. So super easy. So in the quilt behind me, we used one of Kay Fawcett's pre-cut bundles. This is actually in the color Parakeet. And what's really cool is you have enough to actually do 2 quilts out of one of these layer cakes. And then my background color is the Fig Tree Cream. If you are followed us for a while, you know this is one of our favorite colors. This Banana Solid is the best background color if you don't really want to do white, you don't want to do black, but you want to kind of go solid. It is pretty fantastic. So this is the Fig Tree Cream Bella Solid from Moda. And this is, again, the 10-inch squares come usually in a junior pack, so they come in a pack of 22 10-inch squares. So you can either do one of these or maybe get yourself some 3 yards of yardage and cut your own, or get a couple of these. It's totally up to you. Or again, use your stash. It's super cute. It's super scrappy. You can really make it however you want to. When you're thinking about size of quilt, so right now this quilt measures 54 by 54 before borders. So this is very much a throw quilt, something great to gift, something to put over the couch. Super fun, but you can always make it larger. You can make, of course, 4 of these and make a super big queen. More probably king size actually, and have 4 big stars across from each other, do like a postcard style. Or what you can see is this is one block. So if you see here to here, this is one Jacob's Ladder block. You see that? And this takes 9 squares. So it takes 9 dark, 9 light. So if you're figuring out math to make it kind of your own, or maybe do a different size, that's kind of the basics you need to go off of. To make 1 square, you need 9. To make the Jacob Star, you'll need 36. Of whatever size you want will, of course, change the size of your quilt. Now, at this moment, Cindy does not have a pattern written for the Jacob Star yet. We did this for our Southern Comfort retreat that we did in the beginning of June. And so we don't have, end of May. And so end of May is when we had our Southern Comfort retreat. So no pattern yet, but I'm going to show you how to make this one. If you want to start making it now, you're more than welcome to, or hang tight and we will have a new pattern release soon. But due to retreat season, we've been a little busy. All right, so this is the other half of our Kaffe layer cake. So again, this was originally what it first looked like. So we took off all of the oranges and kind of really vibrant warm colors out of this, which left us with a whole bunch of cool tones when we were all done. So again, really cool. A layer cake can almost really give you two full quilts. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with one of our darks or your prints, however you want to keep it straight in your head. And we're going to do one of our backgrounds. We're going to do right sides together. And we are making 2 different blocks. So we're making a 4 patch and a half square triangle. To make our half square triangle, we're just going to draw a line from point to point. And I'm using a friction pen. So this is a pen that, of course, is going to heat away. So this is not a permanent mark. It is going to be there until I hit this with my hot iron, and then she will disappear. And then what we're going to do is we will take this to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew 1/4 inch on both sides of this line. So there's our guideline. We're going to sew 1/4 inch on the left and 1/4 inch on the right, and then we'll be right back. All right, and then with some Martha Stewart magic, here is our sewn triangle. So again, here is my line, and I don't know if you can see my stitching is on 1/4 inch on both sides, which gives me 2 half square triangles. And we're just going to cut these apart. And you can, of course, cut it apart on the line with scissors or rotary cutter, whatever you are comfortable with. It really does not matter as long as we are cutting it into 2 beautifully sewn triangles. And then we're going to press to the dark, and then we will trim these. Okay, and so then we're going to take those half square triangles we've made, and we're going to trim these to 9 inches. So I am using right now a 10-inch square up ruler from Quilter Select, and I'm going to trim it to 9 inches. I have plenty of wiggle room to trim, so not a big deal. You're going to want to trim these to 9.5 to save size, but the next step, when we're making our 4 patches, they're going to come out 9 inches. So you'll just have to retrim. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to trim these to 9 inches. The easiest way to do that is when you look at your ruler, you're going to have registration lines all over, of course, at every inch, every half inch, and you're even going to have some angles. So your OmniGrid, your Creative Grid, whatever your go-to ruler is, it's going to have at least a 45-degree line that goes across your ruler. That 45-degree line that is on your ruler, I always put along my seam edge. That gives me one more straight edge to kind of true up my size. And there's 0, and that is my point. I'll make sure that's right at my seam there. Here's 9, and here's 9. So I'm going to line that all up when I'm happy with it. I'm going to trim here. Trim here. If those of you who noticed, I trimmed that like a lefty. Sorry, I don't even know. We're gonna go this way. And again, I'm gonna line that up. My 45-degree line here. My 9, have this beautiful 9-inch half square triangle. So that is how, and this is all that little bit of waste that we're gonna have. And some of you might ask, you know, if you noticed, my Cafe square has a pinked edge and my Moda block does not have a pinked edge. How do you line that up if they're a little, you know, a little different? Because it does look like my Cafe is a little bit bigger. What I say, since we're going to trim anyways, it's not a huge problem as long as you're consistent. I like to make sure that I kind of center my fig tree cream into my pinked square, and then it fits in there really, really nicely. It doesn't necessarily matter where, if you're trimming, if you're going to trim from the pinked edge or not. The pinked is just one of those extra little thing in quilting of just to try to get you stumped. But again, do what you want to when you're looking at that pinked edge. And just make sure you consistently do it into your entire project. Whether that means you are going to line up right on the edge and measure, or come into the bottom of that pinked and measure. None of those are wrong. It's about a 1/16 of an inch different. So whatever you choose to do is fine. You're not going to come up with any other different results. So that is how you make the half square triangle units for Jacob Star. To do the 4 patches, you're going to start with the same thing. Start with a 10-inch color and a 10-inch background, right sides together, and we're going to draw a straight line halfway in. And since we're using 10-inch squares, that's of course going to be a 5-inch line. Here comes in the whole pinked mark rule. You choose. Are you going to go in the inside of the pinked at that, you know, inner point, or are you going to go on the outer point? Entirely up to you. I'm going to measure off of my solid piece because it's a tad bit smaller, and it's just on the inside of those pinked marks. And I'm going to draw a line. We're going to take it to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch on both sides like we just did for our half square triangles. And then I'm going to be right back. Okay, we've sewn it, we've cut it in half, and now we have 2 jumbo rectangle blocks. We're going to press these to the dark, And then you can take different ones. Now what I would say is make all of these fancy guys here and then shuffle it up a little so your 4 patches are mix matched on the quilt. And I'll show you in just a minute what that looks like. But right now I'll show you the step on how to make the 4 patches. You're going to take 2 of your rectangles, press them to the dark so they're nice. No trimming necessary at this point. We're going to right sides together, crisscrossing our colors, because again, we're going to make a 4 patch. So we're going to nestle those edges together, line it up, and I would do this right on your cutting mat or on a nice flat surface, because then we're going to take our ruler again and we're going to line up, and we're again going to mark halfway, which is again, this line here is 10 inches. So we're going to do it at 5 inches again. We're going to take it. We're going to mark that 5 inch. We're going to take it back to the sewing machine and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch on both sides. And we'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I sewed on either side of our mark a 1/4 inch. I cut it apart, pressed my block nice and flat, and now we're going to trim. So again, we have already trimmed our half square triangle units to 9 inches. We're going to trim our 4 patches to 9 inches also. So again, we're going to take our same ruler. Again, I'm just using my 10 inch, whatever works best for you. And we're going to trim it to 9 inches. The best way that I find to trim a 4 patch is to find that center measurement. So half of 9 is going to be 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And again, that just lines up right on my seam. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And again, just line that right on my seam. And then we will have a nice square 4 patch, because we could easily move it all the way over a little, that little bit of 1/4 inch, but see where my center would be? It would be about 1/8 of an inch off, which maybe no one would notice, but your squares might look a little funny because one square is going to be bigger than the other. So again, find that center mark. And in our case today, it's going to be 4.5 and 4.5. And here's my 9 and my 9. And we're going to go ahead and trim. And then we're going to flip my 4 patch. And then we're going to line up our 9 and our 9. Double check our 4.5 and 4.5. And then trim. And then a little bit of waist. And then we have a perfect 9-inch 4 patch and a perfect 9-inch half square triangle that will create a unit to our Jacob star. All right, let's get back to the quilt and let me show you where these pieces go. Okay, so we've made our basic units. Again, to make the Jacob star, it is 4 patches and half square triangles. That is it, a light and a dark. It can be super scrappy. It can be those awesome layer cakes you have stashed in your quilt room because someday you're gonna have the perfect pattern to use it. Today might be the day. So this is what I was talking about when you're making your 4 patches. To make a bunch of these first, then do some shuffling so that you can have different colors across from each other instead of having them the same. It just adds a little bit more interest. I like it scrappy. This planned, I call this planned scrappy. The reason why I call it planned is because these are all complementary colors. My background's all the same. Even if this was mixed white on whites, I would still call it planned scrappy. A true scrappy quilt would have cats and cupcakes and a floral, and if you knew Thelma from our shop, you knew her scrappy had all of those. And it is a beautiful scrappy quilt. Me and how I quilt, I definitely have to have it planned. I am not one that can draw something out of a bag and hope that I like it. So however scrappy works for you, works for me. So 4 patches and half square triangles. And then you're just going to lay them out. So again, however you want to. I like to make into my units here, because again, this is 4 jumbo Jacob ladder blocks that are just twisted to make our Jacob star. And that's it. So again, to make this 55 by 55 inch quilt, you need 36 dark 10-inch squares, 36 light 10-inch squares. Sew it all together, get it quilted, put a cute binding on, and you are good to go. The other thing you can do, of course, to make it bigger is add yourself a border. If you want to do a quick little, 3-inch border all the way around before you bind it, you'll need a yard of additional fabric to do that. So have fun with this. If you have any extra questions, use the comments and we'll get those answered for you. Or you can email us at info@fabricpatch.net and we will help you with any questions we can. And then sign up for our newsletter and you'll be notified when this pattern does come available in print and PDF form. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
Thank you for watching our video. We invite you to leave a comment, hit the like button, or better yet, subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. You can also visit our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Pinterest pages, or find all of those things and our online store at fabricpatch.net.